think we are live now. I'm here. This is Nora Wendell from the Photo Force, and I'm live and so excited to be talking to the famous, and I think she's famous, Rosemary Watson. And I've been following Rosemary and her Instagram strategies, tips, and tricks for ages now. It feels like almost a year. I don't know if it's been that long, but welcome, Rosemary. Tell us like a little bit of your background. And I know you're a mother of 6, so I definitely want to hear a little bit of that backstory too.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I just started being very, very intentional with my Instagram strategy March of last year. So it's really only been like a little over a year where I've really had a plan. And I've grown like leaps and bounds from where I started. My story is I started like right under 4,000, and within a year, within 10 months, I hit 10,000. So it was just having a strategy in place, being very intentional with everything I was sharing, and just being very brand consistent and making sure what I put out in the world was what I wanted to reflect for my business. So that was the story there. I run a productions firm, so I have clients that I do one-on-one training with and services, provide them. But I also do courses. I also have a Facebook group. So I have lots of ways you can connect with me and kind of get in my world. But ultimately, I do still offer one-on-one services for clients. So
for Instagram, like Instagram strategy.
I do. Yeah. My productions firm is great because it's kind of like an umbrella brand, and it allows me to do really from start to finish everything a client would need to like build their business and grow it. So I do everything from brand identity design to website design to marketing strategy. And then I manage social media accounts. So I manage Instagram for people, and I create that full Instagram strategy, full service. So it's posting, it's connection, it's strategy, and it's analytics for all my clients.
Oh, wow. Amazing. I might have to hire you for the Photo Force too. All right. So let's look at your background. So I love that you grew. Okay. But first of all, let me just say from 4,000 to 10K, that's a lot. But some people don't even have 4,000, right? So like for somebody who just wants to start on Instagram, and maybe before we get into this, I'd love to just know the difference between using Instagram as like personal or maybe a personal brand, or then specifically for business, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So when I started out, I was on one of the first people on Instagram because I happened to be on, I don't know if you're familiar with the app Rana Designs, but Rana Fair owns that app. Yeah. And I was on her design team. So she was one of the first people invited to Instagram because she already had like a big following from her app. Yeah. And so then she was telling us, her team, about it. So it took me 4 years. Like I was on it 4 years. So I think I've been on it for a total of 5.5 years now on Instagram. And for 4 years, it was just me and my family, sometimes the scrapbooking designs that I would design, a little bit of stuff here and there. And when I decided to become a photographer, like I did portraits and weddings, I shared some stuff about that, but I never, like I said, I wasn't intentional. There was no rhyme or reason. It was just whatever I felt like posting that day is what it went up. There was no consistency. So I would look at my feed and there were good posts, like I'd see it. And I'm sure this happens to a lot of people, is they see some things and they are like, okay, I like that one post, but it's not fitting together. It's not telling my story, or it's not the best representation of who I want to be. And I'm much different. I tell people, if you've had a personal account for a while and it's just a mishmash of stuff, I would just probably start fresh and start a brand new business account. I chose not to do that. And so you can even right now, like you can go in my feed and like scroll forever and you can see all my janky posts that are not good. Like you can see like the evolution of my brand, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with leaving it up and having people see kind of like before and after. But I like to tell people to start fresh because then you're going to get true analytics. So if you are deciding right now, like I'm going to start a business, I'm going to start fresh, I would just start a brand new Instagram account, because I do have the problem when I go back and look at my analytics, my highest engagement post is like when I had my baby 4 years ago, which has nothing to do with my business. So if you want to get like a true, indicator of what your analytics are, if like, what's your actual best post? What's your actual most engaged post? Is like, if you're running this account for business, you want it to be business. You want to get that data correct. So I would say start fresh, start new. And that means you're starting from zero. And that's okay, because no matter what your following is that you've grown now, you can always push people over to your business account. So just because you have a business account means you don't have to ever not post about business on your personal. You can still share about your business, but you just know that your business page is only for business, and you know that that's what you're going to track your growth on, and that's what you're going to use to convert people into sales eventually. So still feel free to share your business stuff on your personal and push people to that platform. But you want to make it very clear that your party is on Instagram. Like, this is where I'm sharing my content. This is where you're going to get the most value. This is where you're going to get, like, see all the things I'm offering. Just make that very, very clear. And then you just start building up a strategy. I think that without a plan, you can go nowhere. It's like getting in your car and you're like, okay, I want to build a business. Like, I want to drive to New York City. And you can't do that, but I can because I'm in Arizona. But if you just get in your car and you just have you're just driving, like you're just driving wherever, it's like you're never going to get to New York, right? You need to have a map. And there's lots of different ways to get to New York from Arizona. You could go, north or south or wherever, you can go whichever way. But it just depends on what your goals are. Like, are you taking the scenic route to New York, or are you trying to take the fastest route to New York? Those are two different things. So if one of your goals is, I'm trying to like get to 10K, there's lots of different ways to get there. You just have to know what's important to you. And that will kind of like guide all of your efforts, really.
So I would love to know what are some of the goals that people have for using Instagram for their business? Is it like, do people actually sell from Instagram, or is it more like brand awareness they use Instagram for, or like, I don't even know. So like, what have you seen in your experience that, what are the goals for using Instagram as an Instagram strategy as one of your top social media,
Sorry, I have kids. Yeah. I'm like trying to shoo away. I totally get your question. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand is Instagram is not a place that's set up for selling. Not yet. It might someday be. Hold on really quick. Hey kiddos, you need to go somewhere else, please. Anyway, back. It's not set up for selling. So it's not it's not a website. It's not a sales page. It's not meant to be used that way. It's meant to be a curated collection of images to share what your brand is about. And you can absolutely set up an optimized way of transferring conversions. But at the end of the day, you're going to get a lot more conversion if you're taking people off of Instagram. That's what I like to tell people. So a lot of people are like, well, I'm selling these like essential oils, or I'm selling this photography service and I'm posting about it, but no one's ever calling me to book, or no one's ever clicking the buy now button, or, it's like they're not clicking the link to go to my purchase page. It's like, that's not what it's for. I like to think about Instagram like a magazine. So when I want to convert people into sales, I'm trying to get them to my email list, because from there, that's the easiest way to then make a sale, is to show up on people's inbox. So Instagram is really to show brand awareness, but still show what you're selling. You definitely want to talk about your products. You definitely want to talk about your services. You don't want it to be a secret that you're selling something, but it's absolutely not set up for just selling something automatically with them. So you're going to have to either use a service like Curate, where you click on a button and it pops up the feed and you can shop the feed, but it's not meant for that. Like right now, even I have a landing page. So when you click my one link I have on Instagram, it goes to a landing page and it says you can read my blog posts, you can buy a course, you can join my Facebook group. So something like that, or like Linktree, you can use that too. But at the end of the day, you have to get them off the platform. It's not for selling. It's not a shop page.
Yeah, so it's basically brand awareness, right? It's just letting people know who you are, like what you do, and how they can interact with you, and then you bring them, outside of the platform. Yeah. So,
right.
So, do you think the number one goal a lot of people have is just, is it behind the scenes of their business, or like how are people, like how are your clients really using Instagram effectively? What have you seen is like working really well?
I like to use kind of a breakdown. My formula, you don't have to use this exact same formula, but what I start every client at is 20% promotion, 40% brand awareness, and 40% giving value. And the giving value piece is the hardest part. A lot of people are like, I just have a furniture store, I don't know how to give value, or I just sell oils, I don't know how to give value. It's like they don't get that. You have to give. Something that makes a transition in someone's life, something that's going to create a transformation. So that could be a million different things. There's so many ways to do it, but I like to break it down. So again, I don't want it to be a secret I sell something. I'm going to tell you, I have styled stock photos for you to buy. I'm going to tell you I have courses for you to buy, but I'm only going to talk about that 20% of the time. And I'm not just going to throw it out there like a used car salesman, 20% off this, 20% off that. I'm going to tell stories, and I'm going to do it creatively, because ultimately that's what the platform is for. Baby, go play. Right now.
So,
Not right now.
so okay, what you just said, telling stories. I think that's so key with Instagram. Is telling engaging, interesting stories visually, right?
Absolutely. And that's really what it's for. It's like a magazine. It really is a magazine. And to be honest, every social media platform is storytelling. That's all it is. It's like going into a cocktail party, right? You don't go into a cocktail party and just say, "Hey, by the way, I sell insurance." Like, "Hey, by the way, I'm a dentist." You don't do that. Like, no one would ever expect you to do that. It is social. So you're expected to go into this and be social. You're trying to create connections. You're trying to create conversations. And that's what it's really for. It's like, how can you tell stories to people so you engage in a conversation, build a relationship, and then maybe they'll trust you enough and like you enough to want to hand you money. But you're never going to get there just by showing them and saying, "By the way, I sell this thing. By the way, I sell this thing.
Come look at me. Look my product. Look my product."
Half off today. Half off today. It's like, oh my God, nobody cares. Like that. Like, tell us a story, like that's what we want.
Yeah, no, fun. All right, so back to like, okay, you started with 4,000 followers, right? But how did you even get to 4,000 followers?
So that took me 4 years. That took me 4 years to get to that point. And a lot of it was because I knew someone. So that's one thing that you need to know. If like your goal is to grow and get more followers, if that's one of your goals, one strategy and one tactic is to partner up with people that have a bigger following than you and see what you can do for them in exchange for exposure for you. So when I was on Rana's design team, she was growing like hotcakes. Like her app was, getting more and more downloads. And so people were following her and seeing what other people were using for her designs. And so every time she featured me, I'd get a bump, so if you can find and build a relationship with somebody to really feature you, tag you in things where you can be a part of their platform, that's like a really fast way to grow, is to partner up with someone else. The key to that though, is you have to be giving them value. So no one like me, I'm so busy. I'm so crazy busy. If all you're doing is messaging me and saying, "Hey, will you feature me?" The answer is going to be no, I don't have time for that. But if you reach out to me and say, "I would love to partner up with this for you. This is what I can offer you. Would you mind shouting it out?" Like the Ashley Bowden, who's doing the Imperfect Boss, I was thrilled to be a part of that because she's offering something in exchange, right? She approaches you as, "You're part of this community. I'm going to put you on my website. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for you." And then I'm thrilled to join that. Like I'm thrilled to be a part of that community. You just have to make sure your ask starts with what you can do for the other person.
Yeah, no, that's great. And that's not actually a strategy I ever thought of, is actually starting to partner more with other bigger Instagram. And it doesn't have to be like, "I have 100,000 followers." No, it can be somebody who has a few hundred followers more than you. And it's just sharing a little bit of your knowledge or whatever you have to offer with each other. So that's a great tip.
Absolutely.
Thanks for that.
And like back to goals, like you asked before, like what are some people's goals? Like 10K was great. That was a goal of mine, just because I felt like if I was going to like teach people about using Instagram and kind of show them a strategy and a workflow, I wanted that social proof. So I'm not saying that your following doesn't matter at all. I think it does if it's something that you're going to be educating in. It's really hard to sell someone, "Hey, I can run your social media account," if all you have is 1,000 followers and they're already at 5,000. They're going to look at you and be like, "Well, I think I know more than you. I've already done, I have more followers." So for me, that was very important because I was actually having people hand me money in exchange to do that service for them. But some people, it doesn't have to be your goal. Maybe your goal is engagement. Maybe you want to just create really like tight relationships that are going to like last for a really long time with people. And that's more important to you. And the conversation. So the engagement rate, that might be a huge goal for you. If building your email list is a goal, then that one hyperlink on your Instagram account, that should be to your list to sign up. And maybe every 4 posts, every 9 grid, you pick 4 of those posts and those are directing people to that link, if that is your goal. So you need to be really intentional about what you're using Instagram for and what the goals are and how it's a tool. At the end of the day, followers don't pay my Verizon bill. Followers don't, buy me a new Mac. Dollars do. So you have to know, like, Instagram's a tool to get you to that goal. It's not followers just for the sake of followers. Like the queen of Instagram doesn't make money, like she's not paying her bills with her followers.
Yeah, no, that's such a great point. Everybody who's listening or watching this in the replay, just be clear on your goal. And, the number of followers you have doesn't reflect if you're a good or bad person, because in this day and age, we tend to see that reflection of like, oh, we haven't got enough followers, or we're not, we're not good at what we do. And don't let that affect you, please.
Right. Right.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to move on. So we talked a little bit of like what is Instagram strategy? How do you use Instagram more for business? You gave your, was it 80-20 or 80? Yeah, 80-20.
Yeah, 20%. Yeah, 20% promotion, 40% brand awareness. So kind of who you are, what your brand's about, really the experience they're going to get when they're working for you or with you. And then 40% giving value. So that's really, really important. Give them something that's going to build that trust.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So let's move on to like the design side of Instagram. So yes, Instagram is about telling stories. It's about visual storytelling. It's you're like, it's a magazine. How do you make it engaging? All right. So what do you tell somebody who has absolutely no design aesthetics and really struggles and is so frustrated because, they look at all these Instagram feeds and they've got like Instagram envy, and they just can't make their Instagram feed cohesive, look nice, all these pretty pictures. Like, how do you help these people?
So I would first tell them, it's work. This is a job. So Instagram, it sounds like it's something that's fun, and it can be, but at the end of the day, this is a job. This is part of your business, and you have to invest time in it. You have to invest from the very beginning stages of research and development. And that starts with, who are you? You have to be very clear. If you try to have an Instagram strategy before you have a brand, you're going to have a really hard time. And that doesn't mean everything's set in stone. I've pivoted a million times in my what I offer as a service, who I am as a brand. And it really takes some time to discover that. But if you really spend and give yourself dedicated time, even like a week, and you say every day this week, I'm going to dedicate an hour and I'm going to dive deep and know who I am, what I'm all about, and what people are going to feel when they come to this feed. If you start there, it's much, much easier for you to then create the visuals against that, right? So you need to know who you're talking to, who you are, and what you're selling, and what you want people to feel. So if you start with that base, I did a challenge a little while ago, teaching people how to create 9 grids. So that's basically storytelling on Instagram. And if you think about it visually, Instagram is a bunch of squares. So if you can imagine every 3x3 grid telling an individual story, that really helped people kind of get that in their minds. Like, this is what a magazine is. It's like going through a magazine and finding an article. And in that article, none of those images are the same. They're all very different, but they're all working together with the words that you use to tell this story. And so that was just kind of a strategy and a tactic that people can really kind of wrap their mind around, and it made it easy for them to create content. So I can share a screen later on if you want with the 9 grid, and people can take it and just see. It's literally just filling in boxes.
Let's share it now. So we're going to go into screen sharing. We haven't tried this yet, so apologies if it goes wrong, but I have full faith that it will work. So go on.
We're going to do it. Okay, I'm going to push the
screen because I actually did this Instagram challenge with Rosemary, the Create Your 9 grid, and it was fantastic. And yeah.
Did it work?
Let's see. It says yes. All right, here we go. Can everybody see it? Yay! All right, let's just check on the Facebook Live down here. All right.
Did it work on there?
It did. We're live.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, this is what I used to teach the Instagram 9 grid. And then basically the very top line, it says 9 grid story. And you figure out what you're going to share about, what the story is going to be about. Maybe it's a new product you're launching. Maybe you're moving. Maybe you're having a baby. Maybe you're talking about the mission behind your business. Maybe you're talking about a sale you're having. Maybe it's Black Friday and you're having a Black Friday sale. Whatever that story is, that's what you write at the very top. And how I envision this is that 9 grid is literally like a chunk of posts all together, but it doesn't have to be. I had someone say, well, what if instead I just like tell the story, but fill in posts in between? I said, you do whatever you want. Like, this is just a guide and a template to help you if you're struggling. If you already have this down and you're like, oh, please, like I don't need a 9 grid to tell my story. I can do it spread out. Feel free to do that. This was just kind of a step-by-step way for people to be like, okay, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do next. This is what you can do next. So you can pick your story. And what's great about this is it's replicatable. So maybe you have, maybe every Monday you decide you're going to launch a new product. I've done that in my Styled Stock shop when I was really active in creative market. I said, okay, every Tuesday, I'm going to release a new image. So I could say that, like, for example, I could say my 9 grid story is going to be new image release. And that's what I'm going to share about. I'm going to create content, 9 different pieces of content around that one image set maybe that I'm sharing. So you kind of write down your ideas. And again, I broke this down, which was easy for me, is I'm going to say 20% of those posts have to be promotion. So they have to send people, the call to action on that post has to be sending someone somewhere to buy my image. 40% is going to be brand awareness, and then 40% is going to be giving value. So with this one image set, perhaps that I'm selling in my creative market shop, how can I give to people? So that breakdown, I can't do math in my head, but I'm pretty sure it turns out to, let's see, 9 images at 20% is, so let's just say 2 posts. So 2 of those posts in that 9 grid have to send people to my shop to buy. So I would just write down, I would pick, you know, whatever 2 squares they're going to be and say, here's a link. This is where you can, you know, bit.ly link where you can go to my shop and buy this image. Maybe the middle is going to be brand awareness. It's going to be something like the inspiration that I had behind creating that image. Maybe it's going to be a behind the scenes of the image, like while I was shooting it. Maybe it's me shopping for props for what I shot. Maybe it's the location I was shooting in and just like a landscape. So just telling that story. What are some rich ways you can dig deep into that story and tell it creatively? Instead of just popping up a graphic and saying 10% off, I have a new image, you're really dedicating time and bandwidth to tell that story and get people more invested in it. Because the more invested we are in what you're selling, the easier it is to sell to us. We see deals left and right all the time. My inbox, I get like 100 emails a day for things that are for sale. But the more, like every email that I open from Anthropologie, I will open every email. It's rare that I buy something, but I'll open every email because visually it just grabs me and I want to see what they're sharing because it's inspiring. So if you can be inspiring on your Instagram feed, it's going to be so much easier of a transition to get those people to click over and buy from you.
Wow. And I want to put you on the spot here. Can you just draw up your own Instagram feed and just show us how you did a 9 grid on your Instagram? So you can just open your browser.
See, open up the browser and then I'll go to Instagram. Can you see it yet? I don't know if you can.
No, you can't see it. You might have to stop screen sharing and start again.
Oh, okay. So stop share. There we go. Instagram.com. So I'll probably have to scroll to a little bit because I don't always clump my 9 grids all together, but I'll still show you kind of what I mean by it. Because like I said, if you're already comfortable in storytelling, if you don't think the 9 grid altogether works for you, you don't have to do that. So for me, I can go here. Let's see. Where are we in Zoom? Okay, so now I can share screen again. And then, oh wait, where'd it go? Hold on. Okay, let's see if you can see it.
Okay, just wait. I can't see anything yet. All right.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Okay, so we got it. Perfect. Okay, so one of my 9 grids could be about this last weekend. I spent the weekend with my mastermind group. So they came down to Phoenix and they visited. So this was a different trip I went on, but this was a group talking about, oh, we're going to meet together. We're going to do our mastermind. Next, I shared a photo of the food and beverages. So just like a magazine, I wouldn't just show picture after picture of our faces. I would mix it up and try to give people the feeling that we're there. So this is an image of us at the outdoor bar we were hanging out at and working in the working space. This is a styled stock photo of Jana, Twiggy Post. She launched her subscription service. So that's part of the story is my business partner is launching her subscription. Let me tell that in this image. The next image is a very tight image of a cactus because we were in Arizona. So I was telling the story of, I just love people being here. This is my home. I love showing people around and giving them that experience as being like living here, like being a resident. Here's an image of me thinking about what we talked about in our mastermind and thinking about offering business coaching because that's something we talked about. And so that's only like 6 posts that we are dedicated to this, but I could go further and talk about it if I didn't already have things scheduled because I have a very strict schedule. Like every Sunday I share a Sunday prep tip. I use themes. And so every Monday I share mood boards. So it kind of broke into my 9 grid, but do you see what I'm saying? Like there's multiple images that still tell that story. So it's not stagnant. It's not just showing the same thing over and over to dig into people's brains that we're at this mastermind. It's telling that story creatively so people won't get bored and they feel like they're there. That's the great part too, is you're giving people that experience that they're like just right there with you. I had so many people message me about the mastermind saying, oh my gosh, all your images, all your stories, I wish I was there. You guys it looks like so much fun. And it really was. And that's what we really want is, so the next time we like launch a product together, people are already feeling like they're there with us, and they just want, because actually the next thing we're going to launch next year is an in-person experience. So we want to show that so much that people are like, I don't even care what it costs. We just want to be there because you guys had such a good time, because we saw it in the very creative story.
Amazing, amazing. All right, thanks for sharing on the spot your Instagram feed. And I think Rosemary is actually going to share, I'll update the description in this Facebook Live video, and you can then get that 9 grid from Rosemary herself. And I've used it and it's amazing. So I highly suggest that you do go and grab that from Rosemary. And I know she's put a lot of effort and thought behind that as well, and everything she does actually. And I just wanted to tell that I've actually, with the Photo Force, I've written a blog post, and it's all about how to design a drool-worthy Instagram feed. And I give my own personal tips and tricks on how to get inspiration, and I give some examples of some Instagram feeds that I find very inspirational, that have a great cohesive look and feel, a magazine style. So if you want to read that, it's thephotoforce.com/Instagram. And I have a great opt-in also that you can do, which is how do you design your own personal Instagram style. So it's more like a PDF about questions that you need to be asking yourself in order to find what is your personal style, and how do you, maybe not personal, but what is the style you want to come across in Instagram for your Instagram account, and whether or not it's your personal or your business brand, it's really important. So head on over photoforce.com/Instagram, read the blog post, and if you want to find your Instagram style, the link is all there. All right, Rosemary, I want to know from you, what is the biggest mistake you see people doing on Instagram, and yeah, how do you fix it?
I feel like the biggest mistake people make is not being intentional, is just thinking that they need to show up every single day and create something fresh, but they don't know what they're sharing. So they just put something random on there. And I feel like that is only going to hurt you. And the second thing is not being consistent. So people like live and die by consistency. Your one awesome post is going to just fade away tomorrow. Like, I hate to say it, but it's just so, like, things on the internet in general, but like especially on social media, things move so quickly that you have to not just show, like, just be awesome once. You have to consistently be awesome every single day on your A game. And like I said, this is part of your job. It's hard. It's hard work. I don't know if you've ever seen my Instagram stories, but that's why I started sharing them, because people are like they just, I don't think people understand how much work really goes into it. So I wanted to make it very clear, like, this stuff is hard. Like, I'm not trying to act like it's not. It's simple when you know what to do, but it's hard, and you have to do it. You actually have to show up every single day on your A game and know that you're going to pump out stuff that's going to help your people. And I think that's the biggest mistake, is people just think it's just for fun. And it can be, like I said, but this is part of your job. So people need to take it more seriously. You know, like, I had an uncle, when he found out that I was doing like social media management, he's like, so I don't understand, like, what do you do all day? Like, is that even work? And I'm like, and then now he has his own business as a realtor. He's like, oh, I need you to do my stuff. I'm like, no, you do it. Like, are you kidding? It's hard work. Like, it takes a lot of work. So just being committed and really committing to being consistent is huge, huge, huge.
So I would love to know, how long do you actually spend on Instagram every day? So I know you have your own account and your own thing, and you plan it, but you also work for clients. So let's just forget about the clients, but your own account. So your own social media strategy on Instagram, like, and it might be a scary number. So, you know, those who are watching and listening, you know, you don't have to have that many hours. You choose. You can basically choose. But I'm interested to know, how long do you spend, Rosemary?
Yeah, I never post real time to Instagram. Everything I post, like I said, is very intentional. So I schedule things out. I have 90 days of Instagram posts written down and planned out. And then I have usually about 2 to 4 weeks of Instagram posts scheduled and ready to go. So the only thing that I'm doing every day in Instagram is connecting with people and engaging with people. So I'll spend I really only spend like a total, maybe 30 minutes, because I pop on every time I take a break. So if I'm working at my computer at my desktop, at the 45-minute mark, I have to stop and stand up and walk around. And at that point, I'll get a cup of coffee and I'll just pop on and I'll do what I can in that short amount of time. But just having that practice of being consistent, that's when I do all my Instagram stories. I do schedule some. So as they pop up on my thing with is it Planoly app, I believe, is what I've used to schedule stories. I can just like, as I'm working, like hit the button so it posts directly. So I do a lot of scheduling both in stories and on my Instagram feed itself. But I absolutely want to make sure I'm popping in there at least once, if not like 4 times every day, just for a few minutes to make sure I'm acknowledging the people that are commenting on my Instagram feed, and then also reaching out to people that I want kind of to be in my tribe, because that's another thing I swear that made me grow the fastest was connection. So it's definitely not like if you build it, they will come. Like, I don't care how awesome your posts are. I don't care how pretty your photos are. I don't care how, like, you could write novels in your post, but if no one knows who you are, they're not going to read them. And the only way they get found, like the only way to make a friend is to be a friend. So you have to get out there and engage with people. It's a party. It's a cocktail party. I don't care how fancy your dress is. If you just stand in the corner, no one's going to talk to you, right? So you have to get out there and start conversations and be social and reach out to other people's stuff, like people, follow people, comment on their stuff. And then they will in turn, you'll pop up in their notifications, and then they'll go over and see, who's this girl who keeps commenting on my stuff? And oh, her bio photo is so cute. So I'll go over and look at her stuff. And if it's for them, if they feel like it's where they belong, they'll hit follow. That's the math. It's just how it works.
I think so many people think that, oh, Instagram, I can just pre-schedule everything and not have to be on there at all. And I keep telling people it's not like that. It's a social platform. It's like, it's social. You don't like pre-plan all your Facebook posts and then never open Facebook again. No, you're in there like 2-3 times a day looking what's going on, commenting.
Yeah. And I definitely, like, I try to get it. It would be awesome if I had the bandwidth to be able to either me or like a virtual assistant to respond to every single comment within the hour. That'd be awesome. I just don't have that. So I try morning, afternoon, and night, either me or my assistant will go on to every post I have and respond to comments, because it's like, you know, if someone were to give you a compliment in real life and say, oh, your dress is beautiful, and you just sat there and said nothing, that's weird. Right? So this is like social, you know, so be normal, like a normal person. It's like a normal conversation. So that's one thing I've had to tell clients before is like, if someone comments on your post, talk to them like you'd be speaking to them in person. Because I've had people be like, oh my gosh, like at your store, that picture or that wall hanging is gorgeous. How much is it? And they're like, $40. And I'm like, no. Like, you wouldn't just say $40 and walk away to someone in person. You would actually engage them in conversation. Oh, thanks so much. It's $40, but we have a lot in the store. We'd love for you to come in and take a peek. Like, it's like you're speaking to someone in real life. Just people have to think about that. Like, it's just like real life now. You have to treat it like it is.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so okay. Yeah, I think
hold on. I'm so sorry. Waffles.
Come here, Waffles.
Yeah, my dog's name is Waffles.
She has a dog named Waffle. I love it. I love it. All right. Wow. I think we've covered so much already in this last. Oh, wow. Look at him. Hello. We've covered quite a lot. Wow. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, I feel like maybe if you just find people, this is really what got me to where I am, is if you find people that are doing things well and that you see, they're like, okay, I love their feed. What can I be doing to have something similar? Try to work backwards and break down their systems. Break down their system so you can kind of share the same things, but with your own twist. So if you like my feed, totally take ideas, tag me and stuff, ask me my opinions. I'm always there to help and give feedback. But if there's other people, I mean, I get so much inspiration from people that have nothing to do with what I sell. Like Freshly Picked, I talk about them all the time. They sell baby moccasins. They don't sell anything close to what I sell, but their content is so inspiring. So I love taking what they're doing and saying, how can I put my own twist on it? Like, how can I share something similar? So just really thinking about that very intentionally, like even when you're stalking people and even when you're like just in your bed at 10 p.m. double tapping like crazy, take note of what's attracting you and think about how you can then remix it and share it on your own feed.
Yeah, no, Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, I was stalking Rosemary for quite a while before I joined in her little posse. And do you want to just give people the link to your group, because it's so informative and it's so helpful? So
oh, I'm so glad. Yes, absolutely. Please do find us. We're the IG Collaborative. So it used to be the Instagram Collaborative, but we have to be very careful about the trademark. So we're saying the IG Collaborative on Facebook. And I'm pretty sure if you just do the Facebook/groups/IG Collaborative, you'll find us. I'm pretty sure that's what we changed it to. So, and we'll put a link.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the comments. All right. Well, amazing. I did have a look at some of we had a few comments here. Unfortunately, because we're using Zoom, I can't see comments in real time.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people are saying great information, lots of fun. Thank you.
We had a few good.
So yeah, that's all I can say. Every Tuesday, I'm doing interviews on the Facebook page of the Photo Forest. So, tune in every Tuesday, different subject matters on how you can creatively run your business more effectively. And if you haven't checked us out yet on the Photo Forest, we're a new stock photography membership platform. And maybe Rosemary will join too with her amazing photos. We'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
But we're launching on the 1st of June, and it's a membership site, but it's more of a community. And members get to request the type of photos they want. We have photographers from around the world that pick up these photo requests. And we're really about real life photos and diversity. So I've got photographers from Africa, from New Zealand, from Japan. So, I think the main problem with stock photo sites is, it's not diverse enough in what they offer. So this is the aim of the Photo Forest. So come check us out on thephotoforest.com. So Rosemary, thank you so much for, agreeing to this interview, and all the links will be in the description of the video. And, maybe I'll get you onto the Facebook. I have a Facebook group as well. We'll get you on to talk a little bit about more Instagram strategy on there as well.
I would love that. Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.
All right. Bye.
Bye.